Now, Westchester, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Once again, here's Michael Dandry.
Okay, welcome back. And in case you're just tuning in, my guest today is Rosa, R-O-Z-S-A, Gaston, G-A-S-T-O-N, and she's the author of 3 books that I know of, and they're all here in the studio. Anne and Louis, Rulers and Lovers, is her latest book, which has been reviewed by the Kirkus Reviews with wonderful things to say about that book. And you can Google Rosa Gaston and find out more about her after the broadcast, because really these books are terrific. By the way, the reason why I use the word terrific is because you have assembled an enormous amount of detail in your research. Doing that and conveying it in a book is very difficult in a way that a reader is going to find not only enlightening but easier to absorb.
That's my objective, Michael. I just want it to be fun to read, because if you're reading a history book and you're just falling asleep in the middle of a 25-page battle scene, then it's not going to stay with you. But if it's something where these characters just jump off the page and they just seem like people you know, and they're involved in dynamics that might have happened in your own family, then they become real to you. And I really don't think you're ever going to forget Anne of Brittany after you read my Anne of Brittany series, because she's really come alive to me.
Exactly. Now, there's a future relationship with North America in terms of Anne of Brittany, and obviously Isabella of Spain is sponsoring voyages to the quote unquote New World. But I enjoyed the first half hour that you mentioned that Brittany was responsible for creating the sailcloth that Christopher Columbus's ships needed.
That was such big business, because here's Christopher Columbus, and then there's Henry the Navigator. And all these people, some of them are sailing west and others are sailing down the coast of Africa. And Portugal and Spain are just exploding with these voyages of discovery. And of course, all these ships need sailcloth, and a lot of it's coming from Brittany.
Well, you mentioned the content of it too. The fact that Brittany had an industry of flax production.
Yes, they were very good weavers. And they also made really fine embroidery, crochet. Anne of Brittany was the first sovereign ruler, female, in Europe to wear lingerie, and it was all being made in Brittany.
Right. Now Flanders is nearby Brittany?
No, Flanders is to the northeast.
To the northeast.
And yeah, that's the lowlands. And then Brittany is an arm, which is now part of France, that juts out into the Atlantic. So the north of Brittany is the English Channel, and then due west is the Atlantic Ocean, and then south, it's called the Bay of Biscay, but it's the Atlantic Ocean, basically.
Right. I think a lot of Americans know about the Bay of Biscay because of history and travel,
Yes.
in the past, or whatever. The other thing is that I'm impressed with is the fact that Anne was able to maintain her ruling predominance in Brittany over the course of her lifetime. Did you find that to be? You didn't know that when you started out researching this whole topic, right?
She had a lot more troubles with Charles, the first husband, than with Louis II. But thank goodness Charles died at the age of 27 and a half. So that was just a 7.5-year marriage. As soon as he was gone, she married Louis. And she told him flat out, I'm not marrying you unless you give me sole sovereignty over my own duchy. I'm not co-ruling with you, as Charles insisted on. But she said, I am the ruler and you keep your hands off my own realm. And that was written into the marriage contract. And Louis was madly in love with her, and he agreed to it.
That's an amazing factor that she was able to do that. What kind of military experience did she have? Did Brittany had a standing army? Tell us about that.
I'm going to go more into the naval capabilities, because Brittany is surrounded by water on 3 sides. So there was a very big seafaring, naval capability at Brest on the northwestern coast. And then when Louis kept insisting on going over to Italy to stake a claim on Milan and try to get in to Naples, Anne was a very supportive spouse. So she did commission some of her own Breton vessels to go down into the Mediterranean and just join the French Navy. The French Navy was really not up to snuff, but all the people in Brittany had been, fishermen and seafarers for generations. So she gave him a lot of vessels, and so he was able to basically have a lot of successes in Genoa because of the French and Breton combined naval power.
Well, your use of the word Breton reminds me that there's a Cape Breton in Canada. This is so that's the connection that I was looking for to the United States and to North America.
Now, I don't know about any North America connection vis-a-vis Anne of Brittany, but certainly I know that Henry Tudor was hiding out in Brittany in exile for 14 years before he returned to England and became king as a result of winning the Battle of Bosworth. So it was Anne of Brittany's father who financed and gave sanctuary to Henry Tudor and his uncle, Jasper Owens.
And of course, Henry Tudor was Henry VIII's father. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I remembered that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of detail in this book. It's just incredible.
And we haven't gotten into Philip the Handsome and Joanna the Crazy. But there in the opening 2 chapters, Joanna is the daughter of Isabella and Ferdinand, the middle daughter. And we'll recall that her younger sister was Katherine of Aragon, who was Henry VIII's first wife. And then Philip the Handsome was the head of the lowlands, and his father was Maximilian, the Holy Roman Emperor. So Anne is trying to get her daughter married off to their son. This is all just as they're infants. Her daughter is 1.5 and the son is 5 months old. But she's determined to get them betrothed because she wanted a Habsburg connection between her only living child and their son, because the Habsburgs, allied with Brittany, would provide a hedge against France encroaching upon Brittany and absorbing it into its kingdom.